Morning. All right, I think we're going to start setting up now. Just making sure the stream starts on the groups. Probably won't. It's all good. All right. Welcome, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. We are on Tuesday, day 2 of the week. Looking forward to a big week this week. If it hasn't come through on the groups, again, I apologize. Facebook can be an absolute dick sometimes. What I might do is copy the link from my personal page and I'll pop it in the I'll pop it in each group so you guys are able to watch. I don't think it's working at the moment, so that way we'll cover everyone's ass and you'll be able to watch. So if you get the link, please have a watch. Yeah, it's not fucking streaming again in the groups, which sucks. But anyway, it is what it is. We move forward. All right, cool. Welcome to another episode of Q&A. I hope you get something out of today. If you do, can you drop a hashtag replay in the chat and give me a bit of insight on what you actually might learn from today's Q&A. Again, it's always valuable stuff that I'm trying to give, things that people will, obviously find helpful and be able to take on their everyday life when they're doing a transformation, whether it's fat loss, whether it's building muscle, anything like that. Hey, Kel. Morning, Tezza. So yeah, if you do find something useful or you do have a question to ask me, if you could please pop it in the comment section, and if I'll do my best to answer them live. But Tez, I don't think, if you can have a look, mate, I don't think it's popped up in the academy at all. It's just sitting here doing the old circle of death. Anyway, so I'll try and get to the questions if they come through. But if not, jump on my profile if you can, and I'll get to you from there. So anyway, we'll do another 25 and 25. I think would be good. Quick fire questions and answers. Again, mostly to do with nutrition training and a bit of mindset as well. So you can hit the week running, and hopefully it kind of corrects some of your imbalances within your life. So number one, you send the link. Cool, Tez. So obviously it's not streaming live, must be just a link. Okay, awesome. That's all right. At least people have got a chance to have a look at it. So, okay. So how do I stop craving sugar? I get this asked a fair bit. We need to eat more protein and fiber. We need to make our cells full all day to stop the cravings. We need to have more water. We need to have more hydration. We need to have more sleep so we're not confusing ourselves. A lot of people are bored when they need to consume sugar or some type of food. They're habitual eaters when they're bored. So we need to put an end to that by creating enough fillingness in our body so we're not craving food. Hydration is the biggest one because it sometimes disguises itself as craving. So we've got to learn the triggers. If you are feeling a little bit peckish, have a glass of water first, and chances are you'll be hydrated enough to not worry about the food any longer. Again, sleep. Sleep is huge. Tired brains demand sugar, right? Carbohydrate, so we can move, we can function. We need a little bit of an injection. Good morning. Just be mindful of gradually reducing your sugar intake will help you adapt to it. If you go cold turkey, it's like smoking, right? Most people don't quit straight away because they get that craving pretty quickly. So just gradually reduce yourself of it. If you're starting to go into a high protein, low calorie, whole food diet, chances are you'll slowly wean yourself off the sugar pretty quickly. So yeah, it's, again, most of the time hunger is disguised as dehydration. So have a bit of water first, and then most of the time it'll help you out. Is drinking coffee bad for weight loss? Hell no. Drinking coffee can make a lot of people human and can make a lot of people function during the day. So no, black coffee is basically 0 calories. Morning, Renee. So black coffee is definitely like 0 calories. So, hey, Nikki. Hey, Kel. I'll answer that in a sec. The problem with most people and having excess calories with their coffee is full cream milk, sugar, syrups, the old caramel lattes or the old hazelnut lattes. That 5 6 pumps of those can be upwards of 200 calories. So we've got to be super mindful of it. Caffeine can boost your metabolism a little bit, but don't rely on it for that. So just don't replace your meals with coffee. You still need food, but caffeine does definitely help cravings, and it helps you get through the day-to-day monotony of being in a deficit. Okay, so if you want to have syrups, there are sugar-free versions out there that you can get that are very, very low in calories and almost taste the same. You can get pre-made caramel lattes and stuff like that from Nestle that are very low in calories as well. There's another one, I can't remember the name of it, that's 99% fat free. So look for things like that that will bring the calories down. But drinking coffee can only be bad for weight loss if you add extra calories to the black coffee. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Kelly, when budget is tight, can you recommend a cheaper short-term protein powder? I use WPI, but need a cheaper alternative sometimes when I run out. Any suggestions? Yeah, cool. Look, there's a couple of things when it comes to protein powders we need to be aware of. Obviously, cost is one, but taste is another one. I use Bulk Nutrients protein powder because the taste is good, and it's roughly the cheapest one on the market in terms of per kilo. So I think you're paying like $48, $49 per kilo for a Bulk Nutrients bag, rather than $60 to $80 for a plastic container that you get at a regular supplement store. I think there's international protein you can get from Chemist Warehouse, which is about the same price. Muscle Nations, I think, is around the same price. So yeah, you're looking around about the $40 to $50 mark per kilo of protein powder. But if you are if you need some short term stuff when you run out, be mindful of Woolies and Coles, because they do jack up the prices on their protein powders. You can, if you want to go to a whey protein concentrate, it's higher in calories because they put additives in there to reduce the cost down, but you're only saving yourself a couple of dollars a kilo. So in my opinion, I'd rather you go for the most purest one. So hopefully that answers the question, Kel. But it's budget is definitely something we need to look at, but it's also taste. Like, there are some really dodgy ones out there that taste like horse shit. So I wouldn't go for those, in my personal opinion. If you're going to spend the money on something, you want to have it taste good, right? Hey, Sean. Okay, next one. Do I have to count calories to lose weight? No, you don't. But knowing how calories work for you is a must if you want to maintain a weight loss or a certain type of weight. You need to know how calories work for you, and therefore you need to sort of somehow count them for a little while to get used to what you're eating and processing. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. In that is, do you have to count them for the rest of your life to lose weight? No. Do you have to know about how calories work and how protein works and carbs and fats? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So you can get enough fuel in per day. You're right, Shell. Bulk Nutrients is the bomb, mate, for sure. So portion control matters. So knowing like what one serving of chicken breast is in terms of calories, and also portion size, so you can keep eyeballing that for the rest of your life. Making good food choices is fine. Making sure you have plenty of fruit and vegetables, load them up on your plate. They're bugger all calories in the scheme of things, but tracking will definitely help you learn what's in your food. So I think everybody needs to track for at least 3 months, 4 months to create the habit and get used to some practice on what calories do and don't do to work for you. But the real key is consistency, not obsessing over the maths. I can sort of eyeball meals. Morning, Steph. I can sort of eyeball meals now and roughly know what the calories are. Hey, Ash. And I'm able to eyeball them and go, right, I think that's about a 700 calorie meal, and there's probably 60, 70 grams of protein on it because I've had practice doing it. So if you don't have practice in learning calories or how they work for you, it's going to make weight loss a little bit more harder for you, because chances are you will go over your deficit every single day if you're not tracking something. So get started, get it as a habit, make sure that you understand calories, and then live a life like me where you don't have to track. You only track if you want to, I don't know, if you want to cut up for summer and do a big shred, yeah, then you can track your calories and make sure you're getting them the minimum amount so you can lose enough weight. But I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. For me, I like to eat donuts, so I make sure that they're in part of my life. I say that every week, but I think that's important to understand that I don't live my life by counting calories all the time. So you don't have to cut calories to lose weight. What's a good high protein breakfast? I love this question. For me, oats with yogurt. Oats with protein powder and fruit is really good because you can work out how much protein you need by the scoops. Okay, so for me, it's like I like oats and protein powder because the calories suit me. So for me, I can add 1 scoop or 2 if I feel like I need extra protein, or I'll just do the 1 and keep it down, keep the calories down. So for me, that's my favorite high protein breakfast. Eggs, avocado, whole grain toast is really good, classic solid meal. Yeah, you can't join, guys. It's a live me doing it. So if you could go at the top and just watch the link, I'll pop the link in the chat here, so you can watch it. There you go, Philomena, Nikki. Sorry, yeah, Facebook's been a dick today and it won't let me go live in each group. So you can jump on my profile. That would be awesome. Greek yogurt with berries and nuts, really good. Protein and fiber. Again, just be mindful of the nuts because they can actually add lots of calories on. I like granola. That's really cool. Protein smoothies are awesome. They're fast, super easy to do. Everything's frozen in the freezer. You can chuck your fruit in, add a little bit of peanut butter, some almond milk and things like that. Cottage cheese is the bomb when it comes to making additives in your scrambled eggs. Sorry, can't even say it. Spaghetti for breakfast is not something I would normally have, but adding it into your scrambled eggs is really good to fluff it up and actually create a big protein bomb. Cottage cheese with fruit by itself with a little bit of cinnamon sugar is really, really good. So you got to be mindful of, hey, Nikki, let's be mindful of what type of protein do I like to eat. If you like to eat chicken for breakfast, no one's going to stop you. You don't have to, or you don't have to. But eggs, Greek yogurt, protein powder, oats, slow release carbs, cottage cheeses, making smoothies and stuff are really, really beneficial. How do I eat out without ruining my progress? Cool. Plan ahead. Okay. What I tell most of my clients is if you are going to a wedding, if you're going to a dinner with friends, jump online and have a look at what's available to eat beforehand so you can plan ahead. Now, I am a big advocate for the experience is more important than the calories. When you're going out with friends or family and a thing that you're enjoying the experience more, worrying about the calories is going to make it worse. So don't fucking worry about the calories first and foremost. Secondly is if you know you're going to indulge. Hey, Sharon, if you know you're going to indulge at the dinner, back off the rest of your day. So what I mean by that is have a really light breakfast, really light lunch, get your steps in, maybe hit the gym if you can, do everything you possibly can to be in sort of as less calories as possible before you go, and then eat the food, enjoy the food. Secondly is get up the next day and go for a walk and be mindful of your calories for the next day and kind of get yourself back on track. That's a good recipe for not beating yourself up and feeling like horse shit because you did go over your calories, because the experience counts more than the calories. Please remember that. When you are choosing meals, when you're out, you can't control how the sauce is made. You can ask to have things grilled rather than fried, which is good. Most chefs will do that for you because you're paying them to cook for you. So you can ask the question. Lean proteins are really, really good. Plenty of veggies and rice and things like that are going to fill you up and they're going to benefit you. Just make sure you get the non-fried versions, which would be helpful. Always ask for dressings and sauce on the side because then you can actually make sure that you limit the amount that you want. If you have a steak and it's covered in mushroom sauce, you're going to eat all the mushroom sauce, right? It's simple logic. But if you have the mushroom sauce in a bowl on the side and you're cutting your meat up and you're just dipping it in, you're having less calories on top of your meat than you would be if it was all smothered in there. So that's another way of doing it. But just remember, one meal is not going to ruin your progress. but what you do after with your mindset and your habits, it determines whether or not it'll continue for the rest of the week. So please remember, the experience far outweighs the calories. So enjoy yourself, have the moment with your friends and family, and just make sure that you back it up the next day with something that's going to benefit you. What's the fastest way to improve my fitness? Actually fucking doing it, being consistent, showing up when you say you're going to show up, making sure it's a non-negotiable, making sure that you're strength training 3 times a week, making sure you're getting 8,500 steps as a minimum per day, make sure you're fueling your body correctly for what you need to do, making sure you have adequate rest so you can continue doing the fitness at the level that you are. If you want to run a marathon, you have to consistently show up and do the small steps to get you to the big goal. So it's the same with fitness. It's the same with weight training. It's the same with nutrition. You've got to do those small things on a long period of time to create that type of habit so you can actually make fitness as part of your life. How do I make workouts feel less boring? I say this every week, do something that you enjoy doing and it won't be boring at all. If you like boxing, if you like Pilates, if you like Muay Thai, if you like yoga, if you like table tennis, if you like basketball, do that a couple of times a week and it'll make you feel great. I ride my bicycle because I love riding bikes. It makes me feel good. I like CrossFit, so I do that. If I don't want to do CrossFit, I'll train weights because they're the things I like doing the most. Getting a workout buddy or joining a group class or a community of people that like a run club or CrossFit or something where, you've got people that have got the same interest with you as you and are probably a little bit better than you too. So you can actually push yourself a little bit harder. Having the right music and a podcast on is quite good. It helps with distractions, especially if you're bored. Having a program to follow will stop you from being bored because you'll have structure and you'll know what you're going to do. But making sure you got small achievable goals along the way, so that way you aren't focusing on the big goal. You can actually chip away at those smaller ones and they'll be actually more beneficial for you. What's the best type of cardio for fat loss? This one is asked all the time. I think the GOAT and the unsung hero is walking. Low impact, sustainable, something we can do with the dog, with the family. You can do it any time of the day. Studies are showing now that walking for 15 minutes after you eat a meal helps digestion and helps sleep, especially at dinner time. So walking is the GOAT. I think next after that would be strength training is still a form of cardio because your body is working a little bit at a higher heart rate if you're doing like quick, longer reps. HIIT classes are really cool if you can do a couple of those a week. They're intense, but they really do help burn the fat. But the best one, definitely walking. I think that's the most low impact, especially if you're on the heavier side. You don't want to be doing stuff that's going to highly stress your joints, especially if you're carrying extra weight. So let's just stick to walking. Just remember, walking is a form of resistance training if you are bigger as well. If you've got 20 or 30 kilos to lose, you're basically walking with a weight vest on. So just be mindful of that. How do I build a stronger core? Training the core first and foremost, and not thinking that the core is just your abs. It's not. Your core is the whole thing around your body, your back and your front and your obliques on the side. So making sure you do some form of core directed exercises. Secondly is if you're doing compound lifts, i.e. squats, deadlifts, presses, things like that, they trigger multiple muscles and most of them use the core for balance and stability. So that's in itself is part of building your core. But directly targeting is the best way to kind of define those muscles. But don't think that if you do plenty of ab exercises, you're going to get a six-pack straight away. It's not going to work. So it's just like any other muscle, progressively overload your muscles, but keep training them and making sure that they're part of your routine. How do I get stronger without looking bulky? This is a common misconception for most people. Anyone that's losing weight that wants to lift weights at the same time and do strength training for, say, 3 days a week will not get massive, okay? You won't get massive. you need to be lifting 5 days a week, and you need to be eating in excess of 2.2 grams of protein per target body weight so you can build some serious muscle. But you also need time. It takes 10 years to put on a lot of muscle. It's not going to happen overnight. So for especially you women out there that are scared of lifting weights because you're going to feel big, it ain't going to happen. Okay, it ain't going to happen. You're not on performance enhancing drugs. You're not on enough protein to worry about that, and you're not training enough to worry about that. So to get stronger without looking bulky, you got to lift moderate weights for reps, about 8 to 15. Eat in a maintenance level. Don't eat in a surplus. Okay, the only way to gain muscle is eating in a surplus, which means eating more calories than you need. So strip it first in a deficit, get to your maintenance level, and then just tinker around with your calories until you get to a point where you feel good and look good about yourself. That's maintenance level, and that's where we want to be. Focus on functional strength, not just aesthetics. So to build strength, it's not just about looking ripped. It's actually about lifting heavier. That's strength. So muscle definition comes from low body fat, not just avoiding heavy weights. So we've got to have strength training as part of our weight loss routine. Okay, super important. Recovery and rest. Why am I always sore after workouts? Because you're either using muscles you haven't used before, you're doing new exercises that are tearing the muscles, which equals soreness. Sometimes soreness can be misconstrued for pain. They're two different things. Being sore after lifting heavy is different to being in pain from injuring yourself. You're not recovering well, you're not hydrating enough, you're not stretching, you're not eating enough protein to refuel you, and carbohydrates is really, really important. You're doing too much too soon. Yeah, you're using the ego to lift. That can be a reason why. But soreness isn't the only sign of a good workout. So don't chase the pain, chase progress. Chase the every 2 weeks I can up my weights by 2.5 kilos. That's progressive overload, and I'm getting stronger and feeling stronger. And if you're in a deficit, you will see the definition quicker. But the only way that you're going to be not sore is by doing it continuously, being consistent, but also doing enough recovery so your muscles can repair themselves. How important is sleep for muscle growth? I would say it is almost as important as protein, probably more important. It's when your muscles actually rebuild themselves. So less sleep equals higher cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, and it makes it harder for fat loss. So poor sleep leads to more cravings, less energy, irritability, and stuff like that, which definitely hinders. So aim for I think especially parents, it's hard to get sleep, but aiming for that 7 hours solid if you can would be really, really good. 6 is okay. 5 is kind of pushing the friendship, but yeah, I would be looking at 7 hours as the happy medium. Less than 6 and you're kind of sabotaging your gains. Is it bad to work out every day? I have been to CrossFit for 13 or 14 days straight. Not because I want to be a hero, but because it just happened, and I'm fatigued, and I had Sunday off, and I feel good for it, and I listened to my body, and probably listened to my wife as well, because she was telling me you need to have a rest, and I definitely did. Is it bad to work out every day? Not if you have the capabilities to do it, and what your goals are, but you need to listen to your body. If it's screaming out for rest, you've got to rest. All right, we've got to be mindful of that. It's not smart to strength train every day because you're putting your muscle in too much stress. And we do, like I said, we need rest to recover and to rebuild. So I would be inclined to say 3 days straight and a day rest would be good. 4 days straight and then 2 days rest would be okay. 5 days straight and maybe 2 days on the weekend as well would be cool, or having days in between would be better. But 3 and 1's kind of good, because if you're doing a split, you're kind of doing chest and arms and back and tries and shoulders, or legs on the day 3, and then you can have a rest day and start all over again. So yeah, it's not bad, but if you're exhausted, more rest is more important than more workouts. Why do I get so hungry after workouts? Okay, your body has just burned energy and it needs fuel. So high intensity training or strength training increases your appetite more than steady state cardio does, okay? Because we are rebuilding a machine. We need to give it more fuel. Refueling after the gym and fueling before the gym are very, very important. Having some form of carbohydrate before you train will give you optimal performance, but also having some healthy carbs and protein post-workout will actually make your muscle recovery and rest a lot quicker. So don't starve yourself. Under eating slows progress. High protein, healthy carbs post workout are really, really beneficial. Like a protein oats or a smoothie with fruit, like that's good carbohydrates. But being mindful that you're feeling hungry because you've just burned a ton of fuel and you need to refuel the engine. You can't run a car all the way to empty and expect it to keep going if you don't refuel it. Should I stretch before or after workouts? Cool. I'm a big fan of dynamic stretches beforehand, getting blood flow to the area that you're about to train, and static stretches, which are like seated, just focused on certain muscles after when your muscles have been warmed up so you can cool them down. So you can do deeper holds for longer durations. Stretching helps, but it won't fix bad movement patterns. So mimic what you're about to do, get the form right and get the blood flow to that area. That's more likely to prevent you from having injuries rather than just stretching beforehand. So beforehand, we need dynamic stretches, which are movement type stretches that will mimic what you're going to do. After then, we do static stretches for recovery. Hopefully that kind of makes sense for you guys out there. All right. I'll just have a look and see. If I'm not hungry and can't even think of food, how do I balance things out? I think you need to make sure, Philomena, that you are spacing out your food. Chances are you might be eating too much too quick. Chances are. But you do need the fuel. So don't I don't want people sitting here. If we're giving you 1,600 calories a day to eat, I want you to eat 1,600 calories a day. If you're fasting and you're feeling like you can't fit it all in, then have breakfast. That's the best thing to do. Space it out more. The chances are that you'll be able to eat the food. But being mindful of protein is king. We need to hit that target first before we fill up anything else. How do I stop overthinking fitness? Move more, stress less. Easy, right? You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to start. Small, consistent efforts beats the all or nothing approach. If you have the all or nothing approach, you will not be consistent. You will fail hard and you will celebrate too early. Okay, so progress, not perfection. That's the best way to stop overthinking fitness. How do I build self-discipline with workouts? I think first and foremost is it's got to be a non-negotiable. You've got to make it a habit. You've got to have it booked in your diary like a very important meeting. You've got to make a consistent time frame that you can actually make it to the gym to do your workouts. You need to have a backup plan in case it rains or it's the gym's full or you don't have time, so you can do shorter workouts rather than skipping your workouts. As I said, remove decision making. So have them like a meeting, showing up every single week consistently. Talk to your family and let them know that that's the time that you need to train because it's the only time you can get in, and make sure they understand. So action leads to motivation, not the other way around. We're not going to be motivated if we don't have discipline in our lives and the habits there. So get the habit, get the discipline first. Motivation will come afterwards. But if you have it booked in like it's an important meeting, you will get to it every single week. How do I stay on track when traveling? We talked about this last night. If you are going overseas and you want to enjoy the holiday, you have to bank on most people will put on weight because there's great food there. Okay. But if we are overseas and we're on a holiday and we're traveling somewhere and we can prioritize protein and veggies when we're eating, chances are we'll be okay. Because most of us, when we're away on holidays, we're walking maybe 15, 20,000 steps a day, right? Which is really high active cardio. And it means we're going to be burning off about 500 or 600 calories extra per day. So if we can focus on one meal per day that's going to be shit and the other two are going to be like jam-packed with protein and veg, that will definitely help out. If you can train while you're away, cool. If not, don't stress. I think walking is just as good. Bring resistance band or just do bodyweight exercises if you can, if you don't have a gym at the hotel. But just be flexible, right? Like I said, pick a meal each day that you're going to go to town on. If it's breakfast, go have a big breakfast, and then have a light lunch, have a light dinner, and then the next day get up and do your walking again, and maybe have pizza and pastries and stuff for dinner, but also make sure you have a light breakfast and a light lunch to counteract it. Okay, it is achievable. If I told you you're going to Italy for 10 weeks and you're going to put on 4 kilos, would you be happy? I think most people would be, because some people come back from overseas and they put on 10 or 15 kilos. So if you're mindful of your walking and you pick a meal each day, it's a good recipe for going away and having fun. How do I stop comparing my progress to others? This is really, really hard thing for a lot of people to fathom. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? We've got to remember that. It's your journey, not theirs. Their journey is not yours. You're not the most important person in everybody's life. You're the most important person in your life. I think if you can realize that somehow every single day, you will understand that your reflection in the mirror is a reflection of you. That's the only competition that you need to have when you are comparing yourself to others. Okay. So track your own progress, not somebody else's. Track your own workout plans, not somebody else's. Don't sit there looking at why is Sharon losing weight quicker than me, because Sharon might have a faster acting metabolism or an underactive thyroid, or Sharon might just be training different, or she's just a different makeup. You can't compare yourself to others. You don't know what they're going through or what they've been through to get to where they are. Sharon might have trauma in her life and needs to work harder and is more disciplined in this than you are. So she's making results quicker. So you can't compare yourself to others. Social media is the worst thing for that, because it just shows the highlight reel, not reality. If you stop following fuckwit influencers that are not the same size as you, the same age as you, or have the same experience in life as you, or maybe suffered the same as you, how can you learn off somebody that doesn't understand who you are? So find a coach that you get, that can help you, that understands you, that's been through the trenches. That's a big, big thing. So learning to compare yourself to the reflection in the mirror is more important than the people that are around you, because they are not you. How do I handle people who don't support my fitness journey? Not everyone will understand your goals. Not everyone will understand your goals. And I talk about family, I talk about friends. But if you don't share them with the important people in your life, they won't understand why you're doing this fitness journey. Okay? You've got to understand that. If you lead by example, most people will either follow or take note of what you're doing. But if you're not vocal about why you're doing it and how it's a non-negotiable, people will not understand your fitness goals. Okay? Support is, I think, the secret sauce in any journey. If you don't have some form of support in your life, then it will be really hard on the days that you suffer. For the girls and guys that are in our academy, you have the best support around, not just us coaches, but also all the wonderful people that you're on a journey with. And you'll find that when you are surrounded by winners, you'll become a winner. If you're surrounded by losers, you will become a loser. So having the right people in your corner that are like-minded on the same trajectory and goals would definitely help. But going back to that last question before, your progress is for you, not for anybody else. So have some goals. Be vocal about it to the people that matter the most so they understand, but focus on you. And then you'll be able to make sure that you get the right support for your fitness goals. Okay, a couple of quick fires. Best quick meal. For me, it's chicken and packed salad and pre-cooked potatoes or pumpkin that I've got in the fridge. I have that pretty much every single day for lunch. Worst diet trend, I reckon the one that says no carbs. Anything that restricts carbs is definitely the worst diet trend. Best excuse to skip cardio, probably the best one I've ever heard is my playlist isn't ready. It's Spotify's not working. That's probably one of the best ones. Why do burpees exist? I think it's to test patience and lung capacity at the same time. I actually like burpees. I know they suck to do, but I actually really like doing them. They're pretty cool. Best recovery food, I reckon. Um, Protein oats is really, really good because it's fast acting protein powder that will get in really quickly, and oats are great for a carbohydrate recovery, contrary to what a lot of people say out there. So probably steak and eggs is just as good as well for recovery because it's high in protein, some really good fats and carbohydrates in there. So yeah, steak and potatoes, something like that. But that's what science says is really, really good. Cool. Just double checking the chats and make sure there's no other questions that I need to answer. No, definitely not. Anyway, thank you for joining me for Q&A today. I hope you have found this helpful, interesting. Again, in the chat, if you can pop a question in there that I might not have answered, or simply just give me some feedback on anything you learned today, it would be very, very valuable. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Train hard, eat well, enjoy life. Don't forget to go out and have something nice and fun to eat on the weekends and enjoy that experience with friends and family, because that is fucking way more important than the calories. You don't want to live your life eating chicken, broccoli and rice for the rest of the days, do you? You want to be able to enjoy yourself. So have a